Mike, and you're watching Spiritual Combat, and the title of today's show is Staying Masculine in a Feminized Society. And some of the things I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to be defining true masculinity, righteous masculinity, biblical masculinity, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what being masculine is. And I think I'm gonna get all the meat off the bone with what I'm gonna be bringing out right here. So let's define what biblical masculinity is. What I see a lot of, because I've talked about this before, a lot of men where this society has suppressed their masculinity and feminized them, when they begin to get into this and realize they're feminized and begin to break out of that, they move over into aggressive, turning up, not being afraid to speak their mind, being assertive, because that's one of the main aspects this society seeks to suppress in men. They suppress them speaking up, all that. If you look at the movies now, all the movies, you got a strong female lead and a weak, silly, masculine clown show up in there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, who's submissive to her and all that. So a lot of men, and then if you look in, you got the alpha male movement where they teaching you to speak up, this, that, and the other. So a lot of men move into that and they think, okay, now I'm masculine, but that's not masculinity. The way I would define masculinity is applying the correct righteous response. So a biblical righteous correct response in a given situation, a controlled response. So for instance, because see, a lot of dudes, they'll move into the so-called alpha male state where you're an aggressive, assertive male, and they'll think they're being a masculine man, all that stuff like that. But then what I call that is you're being a macho boy. You're a hammer and everything's a nail, and you're just wham, 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 you know, and that's feminized. You still feminized because you don't know who you are. And when I say you don't know who you are, that means you don't know how to respond in all these given situations. And something that really exposes that is when you get in a relationship, you know, a long-term relationship, you know, you have to be a human. You can't just be this hammer all the time. So that's something that exposes where, hey, you're not a fully grown masculine man. So so in certain given situations, it's time to turn up. So let me give some examples of what I'm saying. Like for me, one of the things you learn is I don't really turn up on men. I give men respect. Even when they're off, I give another dude respect. You know, you'll rarely find me when people are turning up, yelling, when a dude turn up yelling on me and all that stuff like that. I'd be like, okay, you know, I try to bring his energy back down, you know, cause, you know, stuff happens, especially with this word, you know, and just talk to him amicably, if I pronounce that word right. But I watch a lot of dudes, you know, they still feminized, so they be turning up on another dude. But when you come into real masculinity, when you really understand men and you respect another man's power. So I'm not turning up on another dude. I ain't gonna be yelling at another dude unless it get to a certain point. Only time you'll see me turn up and really react to another dude is if that dude, if I'm with my kids and I'm with my wife, you know, and somebody come acting off and I feel threatened to my family, then I'm going to turn up and it ain't going to be talking because I keep the hammer on me. So I'm going to bring it down on them. You know, other than that, like I see dudes, I see dudes on Facebook turning up on other dudes. And it's like, really? It's like, just go message that dude and talk to him like a man. You know what I'm saying? Like the only time you should be turning up on another man is when they threaten you with your family standing right there. You know what I'm saying? Or you come home and there's some dude, like you pull up in your driveway and your front door is popped open and you go in your house, or you in your bed late at night and you hear somebody messing with the window. That's when I'm turning up. And it ain't going to be a bunch of talking. The only thing that's going to be talking is the 9mm. But off on that. But there is a time that there's certain instances where you do got to turn up and draw the line. A lot of times it's drawing the line with women and just putting your foot down and fighting for that respect. But you find a lot of dudes don't want to do that, you know. But getting back to the main idea, biblical masculinity is emotional control. And when I say emotional control, that's not every single situation. Yeah, that's cool. The same emotion all the time. No, certain situations, you got to just turn up and be like, you know, give certain controlled responses, you know. Like at work, a supervisor might come, hey, Mike, I want you to get those guys and I want you to have them pull that actuator off and make sure they get that panel tag, this, that, and other. Oh, okay. And you go, hey, Doug said this, that, and the other. We need y'all to do this. Well, who you think you are? I'm the man who just told you what to do. He just told me to do it and he said y'all, you know. So all that to say, coming into true biblical masculinity is learning how to respond in all these situations. Just another situation you might run into is like me where I work. There's older men 20 years older than me out there working there. And I might come up to them and I might be told to tell them to do something or whatever. And they're going to they'll test you. You know, dudes will test you to see what you made of. And I watch some dudes who are still feminized. It throws their energy all off. Me, I don't bend or get nervous or shy or anything. I just clown them back. You know, that's I'm trying to give you scenarios where this stuff comes in, where I see dudes are still have not matured in their masculinity. It's like they turn up and it's not righteous masculinity. Masculinity where you're given a righteous response in the correct situation. You know what I'm saying? I see dudes who have to mature in that masculinity, and I'm just telling you what I had to do, because I had to mature and figure this thing out, you know? So, and what it comes down to is self-observation, like I told you, according to this word, knowing these situations and how to deal with them and how to respond to them. How, like, for instance, I had a guy doing a job this is a good example of the biblical masculinity. I had a dude doing a job for me where I was going to be paying a good amount of money. This dude's as old as me, maybe a little older, but I felt like that job he was doing, I saw the job he was doing, it was going to be to the standard that I needed it to be. And I had to, but he was a smooth talker or whatever, you know, But I had to just break rapport with him and just say, hey, look, nah. I was like, I'm a get this thing, I'm going to just do this thing myself, get it leveled out right, then I might call you to finish it out. You know what I'm saying? And dude got all in his emotions, and I didn't. I was like, that's real talk. I was like, I'm putting a lot of money in this thing. It's a one-shot deal. That's that. Okay, dealing with him just like that. I was like, man, all up in his face, because this is another dude. He could turn up. He might be able to knock me out. But on the same note, he saw my firmness and all that. And I know a lot of dudes would either, one, cower under what this dude was saying, under his manipulation or whatever you want to call it, or another, or you might get another dude who's a little more advanced. He might turn up too high and it might turn into a situation. So again, it's a growth process. It's becoming that leader of men, that righteous leader, because I mean, Yah is raising us up to be kings and priests. You're going to be leading nations. And a lot of dudes ain't cut out for it. They got a bunch of knowledge in their head, but their mind ain't right. So it's people, you gotta, there's a lot of growth. There's still a lot of growth I gotta do. And I'm watching dudes, I'm trying to grow into a man. A lot of dudes, they got spiritual areas where they're still 4-year-olds at. They got 4-year-old responses. You need to look in your spirit and see where you're young at. A lot of men, there's a lot of people out here academically, yeah, they're 40, 50, 60 years old, but certain emotional areas of people's personalities, they're 8 years old. They're 5 years old. They respond like babies. Okay? Their emotions just completely take them over and take them into a place where they're just completely off. So anyway, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this, because this is part 1 to staying masculine in a feminized society, and this is defining true masculinity. And I kind of define exactly what it is that masculinity is, because you're not a woman. You don't respond emotionally. You respond logically, and then whatever the logical response is, you let your emotions, do what they do in that response, but you can control that. You're not a woman where sometimes you're a little more emotional than you are logical. You know what I'm saying? You're a man. You can always have logical control over yourself once you develop it. And in the coming parts of this series, we're going to go more into how to stay masculine in this feminized society, things you can do to increase that masculine power. That righteous masculine power, the way Yah wants you to walk around and function in this society. But anyway, my name's Mike. You're watching Spiritual Combat. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. If you think it was on point, or if you think I was off on some stuff, put it in the comments there so we could have a discussion, But anyway, you watch Spiritual Combat and have a nice day.